Enjoying secrets of a sugar daddy? How about a little something extra? Here's today's dose of extra sugar with Marcus.
Hey, this is Marcus, and welcome to this segment of Extra Sugar. All right, a couple of things before we get to this segment. We have expanded the contest, Come Party With Us, to watch Ricky Martin, Enrique Iglesias, and Pitbull November 25th. That's Thanksgiving weekend. We have expanded the number of entries from 8 to 10, and you haven't heard about this yet because it just was announced on a show that we recorded, and it will be out in a couple weeks, but Sugar Daddy Kevin from the show has generously offered to pay for the airfare of one of our contestant winners. So not only will you get a 3-day, 2-night stay here in Phoenix, Arizona, a pre-party at my house, transportation to and from the party, a private suite with all you can drink and all you can eat, and you get to meet the cast and crew of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. They're all fantastic. It'll be a great time. You'll really enjoy yourself, but you will also get one lucky person so far will get their airfare paid for. All right, so make sure that you go to the secretsofasugardaddy.com to enter the contest there. You'll have the form. And then also, too, I've had some people mention some concerns about the photos and videos. The 4 photos and the video is just for our judging. We do not publish those. We won't distribute those in any way. It's just for the cast to judge the contestants to pick out the winners. All right. On to today's Extra Sugar. Man, I have some story or two, and then I have some fun letters that we've gotten in, and I'll share those here shortly. But the story I wanted to tell you about is I moved to Phoenix in 1997. So as of today, that was 26 years ago, and it was the best thing that I ever did. I moved here from Texas, and my very first job, I was in my 20s, was at a place called Peter Piper Pizza. Now, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically pizza, parties, games, a game room, and it's just a big store that their pizza's decent. It's pretty good, but they're really known for hosting birthday parties and events and Little League and things like that. Okay, so my very first boss, his name was... we're just going to put his initials, JL. And, it was an interesting boss. He was from New York, and he had some interesting mannerisms that I wasn't used to because growing up in Texas, I just hadn't encountered a gentleman like that, but very memorable. So anyway, life moved on. He got another job. I ended up getting another job with an Asian restaurant chain that was very well known, actually started here in Phoenix, Arizona. So I'm working at the job, and he walks in one day as a customer, and we kind of look at each other. This is many years later, and he knew I looked familiar, and we started chatting, and sure enough, we reminisced, hey, you were my very first boss when I moved to Phoenix back in 1997, and we had a good laugh about that, and he was now working around the corner. Well, again, fast forward, that was the last I ever saw or thought of him, really, until I was at a bar with my ex-wife, and we saw a gentleman there, and I pointed out, I said, that gentleman looks exactly like my first boss I had here in Arizona. Now, we're talking about a town of 5 million people, so even though you occasionally do run into people the odds are not that great. So this gentleman, although he there was some mannerisms that were different, he looked enough alike that I asked him, I said, hey, what is your name? And he told me, and I said, oh, I'm sorry, I got you mixed up with somebody else. You just looked very familiar to me. But it was not my first boss. A week later, I am doing a remodel for a friend in south of town in a little suburb, and the craziest thing happened. So we're working on the house. The owners of the house were in the backyard or something, and I hear the doorbell ring, and I kind of look around. Nobody's answering the door. So I walk up to the door, and here's this gentleman who lives next door and said, hey, in his New York accent, My daughter is graduating high school, and we're going to have a lot of cars in the neighborhood for a little while. I was just going to let you know. So if you could tell the owner not to worry, but we're just having a small gathering. And again, we just kind of looked at each other and go, why do you look familiar? Because I haven't seen him at this point in 15 years. And sure enough, it was my first boss, JL, from when I first moved here. So that was about 6-7 years ago. And fast forward, my friend was on a Facebook group that 29,000 people in Arizona are a member of, and it's called "Are We Dating the Same Guy?" And my buddy, who was my first boss, he's married and has kids. Sure enough, she was scrolling through it, and who appears on that Facebook group? None other than my first boss, JL, and his wife commented on there, "Oh, he's definitely married and lives with me." Yet all these girls were coming out of the woodwork saying that they had met him online and at various other places. So, pretty crazy story that here I am looking at that group with her, and there I said, "Oh my God, I recognize that guy." He was my first boss 26 years ago. Small world sometimes, but also the reason I bring that up is that is a very popular Facebook group. Many, many girls that I've met are members of that group. So far, I don't think I've been posted on there, but it's out there, and a lot of guys have been posted on there and get a lot of comments under their profiles. Anyway, I wanted to get back to an extra sugar I did a few weeks ago where the girl kind of ran out on me, and I did not send her her financial gift as I sat there drinking my drink alone. And the more I thought about it, the more upset I was kind of getting about the whole situation. So I ended up not sending it to her. And I got some feedback on that. I asked you guys for feedback, and I did. So here is 3 pieces of feedback. One of them says, "Hey Marcus, love the show. Just listen to your extra sugar about the sugar baby walking out before the gift. I definitely wouldn't have even asked how to send the gift if she just walked out. You did the right thing. I've had many SBs confirm the date and then never show up. I've even learned not to book the hotel room until I see her in person, especially the first 1 or 2 meets." And then I had another one that says, "So in regards to your extra sugar today, you told her if she shows up, you will give her a token of appreciation, which is very generous by you. But you should have held up your end of the bargain. She showed up, you had a nice time, she left for whatever reason. Maybe she got her period and didn't have tampons and was freaked out that she was going to get blood all over her dress. There could have been a million reasons, but I know if I got my period on a first meet and greet, I probably would have done the same because you ordered another drink. Before you ordered another drink, I would have asked her, 'Are you up for another drink?' Then she could have respectfully declined. I appreciate, especially when we are on a first meet and greet, if that man puts the ball in my court and asks me if I'd like to stay longer, etc." All right, so that was good feedback I got on Instagram. And then Dr. Charles had something to say, our good friend out of San Diego. He said, "I had the same exact thing happen to me. You totally did the right thing. What else were we supposed to do?" So I met this girl at a meet and greet. Same thing, clicked, had a couple of bottles of wine at night in my bedroom, and I had to use the restroom. Next thing I knew, she was gone. She ran out my door with barely any clothes on, left her boots, and wouldn't answer her phone the next day. She contacts me and tells me, "Hey, I'm sorry, but I'm 12 weeks pregnant," and got nervous and left. Well, that explains the abdomen bump when I did a BBL consult on her that night, LOL. A year later, she hits me up and wants to hang out again. Of course, I didn't respond. So that was a message from Dr. Charles. So appreciate all the feedback on that. We got a few more. It was kind of 50-50, and it was just an interesting situation. Okay, and then I have a letter from a girl that I met a couple years ago, I believe. she was from Texas also. I met her for coffee. And although I wasn't interested in her for an arrangement, I did have this common bond with her, and she has kept in touch. She's followed us on Instagram, listens to every show, and she wrote in this letter, which is you're going to get to hear this now. Hi, Marcus and the podcast gang. I lost your number when I got a new phone a couple months ago. We met up at Starbucks about 2 years ago when I had just found out about Seeking and talked about the Goat Cook-Off, West Texas, and the podcast. You had mentioned to keep in touch and let you know how the sugar lifestyle was treating me. Well, I'm officially off the market. I've been in a long-term relationship, I guess you can call it an arrangement, for about a year and a half, and he proposed last night with a 5-carat diamond and told me I could quit my job. I enjoyed what I did, but it was super stressful. He would take care of me and all my expenses and would 100% support me in my dream of going to law school. I think my parents were concerned at first that there was an 18-year age gap between us, but I think once they found out he was a doctor, that subsided, and now they love him. Everything hasn't been all roses the entire time we've been together. His dad died last year and he got super moody and distant and a miscommunication about law school. He said he would never marry another lawyer. His first wife was one. At that point, I had started dabbling and studying for the LSAT, so I stupidly broke up with him over that but didn't give him a reason, since I thought that it would give him a reason to break up with me. I ended up super sick and hospitalized, and even though we weren't together, he came and visited me and had some amazing talks and cleared the air. We have been inseparable since. And she sent me a few photos and a video of them together and this absolutely gorgeous ring. She says, hope you enjoyed the update and thank you for all your tips in person and on the podcast. It's always the first thing I listen to every Tuesday. And we'll just thank her. Her initials are HT. So thank you, HT. We got your message and so happy for you. And that ring is to die for. So we wish you the best and keep in touch and let us know how it's going. All right. Hope you enjoyed today's Extra Sugar. And we have some really good episodes coming up. So we've already recorded quite a few. I've got some in the bag. And I'm telling you, these are going to be great. And the party is coming up soon, so don't delay. Get your entry in now. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed your Extra Sugar with Marcus. As always, visit our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, to comment or tell us your story.